and welcome to Starting Points. This is a series of videos about trees, and this is the second video dealing with shelter. But before I get into the books on shelter, I wanted to show you Barbara Reed's book, A New Baby Calf. I'd mentioned it in the first video, what a clever job she did illustrating using plasticine. The plasticine's probably only about quarter of an inch, but it creates an optical illusion of distance. And there's not much in this about wood, though the barn's made with wood, and there's a fence that's painted white made from wood, and there's an orchard, and there's some woods in different places, but it was the artwork that I wanted to show you. The nice thing about picture books is there's words and pictures, and some of the art is really quite stunning. So I find that to be the case with In My Treehouse. It's written by Alice Schertle, and when she submitted her writing to the publisher says, yeah, this could make a good story. There's some neat things here. Let's see who in our file of illustrators might be best suited for it. And they found Meredith Dunham. This is Meredith's first book she illustrated, and she uses paper. She doesn't cut it with scissors. She tears it and creates these little tears around and notches and all for the leaves. She's got 6 different colors of browns that she's found to use in the picture. And her other pictures, I mean, it's challenging details that she has to come up with and create, and she does a splendid job. Very nice book. Here's another book about tree houses. In the next video, we'll be looking at some tree houses for older people. This is a wonderful tree house, and it's by Harold Longman and illustrated by Harry Devlin. The boy's looking out of his window and he's dreaming. He's a dreamer, and he's got what I would call a very fertile imagination. And he's thinking, what could I build in that tree that he sees there? Maybe a little house, like the gingerbread house. Or a castle. And that would be too heavy though, probably. So it's just trying to figure out what he would put into the tree till he's finally up there exploring around in the tree and working on the tree house. This book has only one person's name because Doris Byrne does both the story and the illustration. And it's called The Summer Folk. There's not really anything in this about trees. I'm merely showing it to you because my children really liked this story. I guess you could say that the mast and up here in the crow's nest is a bit like a tree house. It's a house for whoever's up there on lookout. The children that come to wherever this is by the ocean for a week or more during the summer holidays, that's why they're called summer folk. And they get to playing and building and constructing and making boats of all kinds. Very clever, and boats. And as I say, my children really enjoyed this book. So when I saw this book, Andrew Henry's Meadow, and the name Doris Byrne on it, I said, oh, better have a look at that book. And I was in a bookstore, and that was nice because you can look at the book, and it's a picture book, so it doesn't take so long to read. And I looked through it, and I said, yeah, this is a really creative, imaginative book. And it has a treehouse in it. Andrew Henry is quite an inventor. And his inventions sometimes take a while to complete. And they can sometimes be in the way. And sometimes people grumble. So Andrew Henry decides, you know, I'd like to just have a little house out in the meadow and not be a trouble to anybody. So he builds himself a little house. He's very creative. Well, it doesn't go unnoticed. Children in the neighborhood, word of mouth. Hey, have you seen Andrew Henry's house up there in the meadow? Well, one girl decides she's going to go up there and ask him if he could help build a tree house for her, because she loves birds, and if she was right up in the tree, she could watch them closely, watch them feeding on caterpillars. Well, he says, sure. Starts to help her because he loves to build and he loves to be inventive. Well, others start to troop up there one at a time and ask him to build things for them too. He ends up, I think, with maybe 9 different houses. Here's a book I saw in a bookstore. I was able to look at it. I said, hey, I know this guy. Giles LaRoche. I've seen his book on lighthouses, his book on bridges. Hey, they're great. I bet this will be good too. And so I pulled it off the shelf and I started looking at it. I tried to imagine how much work went in to everything that he cut out and put here, even shadows. And I said, wow, houses of the world. Okay, so I opened it up, and on the first of the book, title page, if you lived here, houses of the world, shows a boy with boards in, climbing up his tree. He's got a hammer and a saw up in the start of a treehouse. And then Giles takes you to 15 different places in the world with unique houses. It's some back in time, historically back in time, some that use wood, some that don't. And so it's sort of a geography and history combined. Well, he ends with this bonus house, this bonus tree house. And I was pretty impressed. That's quite a tree house, I thought. And I thought, you know, it sure does look 3D. It looks like it just blends and goes back in the distance. Just the same sort of thing as Barbara Reed's plasticine. Well, I guess it's no different than an artist who paints. Now I'm sitting here at a table with books around me here and all over the place, but I've been told that I'm maybe going to need to move. I chose this spot because I thought it might be out of the way a bit, and plus my second son is a painter, and he teaches painting online and in his own academy until COVID came. And I didn't have to move anything around here, but I have pictures of some of his work behind me. I live with this. I say, how lucky can I be? So, you might not see that next time. I might be tucked away somewhere else. But anyway, thanks for joining me. I'll be back, and we'll be looking at other books on shelter for 10 and up to 80. Okay? Next time. Bye for now.